Start our program. Thank you.
Do you have enough room?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Robin Koger, the Dean of the College of Engineering now, and it is really an honor to be here today. It's actually been a great week in Aggie Land. What did you say? Yeah. Really a great week. But I think that's something we've all learned, is that when you have a great week, you want to make sure that every part of it includes a very important part, which is the part of gratitude. And that's really what today is about. Today is a day of saying thank you to Dr. Monroe, the late Sally Monroe, and certainly the family of the Monroe family, because of their dedication to North Carolina A&T and the College of Engineering for so many years. And it continues. So what a great day to be here. And I'm pretty sure, this is what we were talking about, we're pretty sure that Sally Monroe had a little talk, shall we say, to make sure she dialed up the weather of today also. So, it's not every day we get to do a naming of one of our buildings that we use so heavily, but this is that day. And so I'm going to stop talking and begin by bringing up our Chancellor, Harold L. Martin Sr. Chancellor?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me thank Dean Koger for her comments this morning as we are preparing to honor one of our own this morning. We're delighted that you have joined us today as we celebrate the incredible legacy and contributions of Dr. Joseph Monroe. You know, as I was coming in, we had the opportunity to reflect quite a bit on the importance and impact of many of you in this audience, but also the importance of this facility for those of us who are alumni of the university and the College of Engineering. And got our start, and the only buildings we knew were the old Cherry Hall, soon to be Monroe Hall, and Graham Hall. And I know she's not going to appreciate this at this moment, but there is one individual in this audience who has served more deans in her capacity as special assistant, executive assistant to the deans than anyone I know at this moment, and that is Mrs. Joyce Neal. And I'm going to have her stand and be recognized. That my first meeting with her was as a student on this campus when the Dean of Engineering's office was in this corner office. We won't say how many years ago. Building names are fairly rare occasions on university campuses in general. And certainly when we confer a building name here at E&T, there's an expectation that the individual, the family, or the business name that we have chosen is worthy, appropriate, and will stand the test of time. This is certainly the occasion and the evidence of an impactful and well-lived life by Dr. Joseph Monroe is clear indication of clearly why we are here today. Let me tell you a little bit about this incredible man. So I want to take a few minutes. Dr. Monroe came to A&T from a farming community in Roland, North Carolina. Population 1,075. In the heart of rural Robeson County. It was clear from the start that this young Joseph was someone special. That rare student with a seemingly inexhaustible level of curiosity. In 1962, he earned not one, not two, but 3 bachelor's degrees from North Carolina A&T in mathematics, English, and French, laying the educational foundation to support a lifetime of learning. The backdrop for those undergraduate studies was equally enriching. The burgeoning civil rights movement, which here in Greensboro included the 1960 activism of the A&T4 in the national spotlight that they attracted. Joseph Monroe emerged from A&T with a thirst for more knowledge and a determination to find it. He matriculated then to Texas A&M University, like A&T, the land-grant institution, and earned both his MS and PhD in computer science. And in so doing, in 1972, was among our nation's first African Americans to earn a doctorate in computer science. That historic terminal degree launched Dr. Monroe on a lifetime of firsts that will bring further distinction to his name, as well as provide vivid examples for others following in his footsteps as to what can be accomplished for those who graduate from historical black colleges and universities. Dr. Monroe was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force and an associate professor of computer science at the Air Force Academy. He subsequently became the first African-American faculty member to earn the rank of full professor, where he also served as chair of electrical engineering, chair of computer science, and ultimately dean of the faculty. At the Academy, Dr. Monroe laid critical groundwork to usher the Air Force Academy and the military overall into the digital age. He created such computer systems as part of his work and oversight as the U.S. Air Force Manpower System, the U.S. Army Personnel System, U.S. Air Force Logistics Systems, and the Armed Forces Intelligence Data Handling System. His service to our nation included similar service to our allies. For instance, Dr. Monroe also designed accredited computer science programs for the Egyptian Air Force Academy and the Royal Thai Air Force Academy as well. Of course, Dr. Monroe was building a family as well, as a career unfolded in significant ways. He married the love of his life, Miss Sally McNeil, with whom he had 2 sons, Joseph Jr. and Bruce, and they produced 3 granddaughters and 2 great-grandchildren for the Monroes. And certainly we join the Monroes as we continue to mourn the sadness and the passing of Mrs. Monroe on March 27th. And we're grateful that she lived long enough to know that we were honoring her husband with his name, and that his name would be a permanent fixture at his alma mater. And I am certain, I'm absolutely certain, that Sally is smiling down upon us today on this very beautiful day here in North Carolina. In 1987, Dr. Monroe left active duty and joined the faculty at Fayetteville State University, serving in various academic and administrative positions over the following 4 years. He returned to his alma mater in 1991, where he was named the Ronald E. McNair Endowed Professor. And I recall joining with Joe as we set out at that time to create the first official department of computer science. And Joe assumed the inaugural role as chair of computer science here at North Carolina A&T. And so much has unfolded since that time when he assumed that administrative responsibility. In 2000, Monroe assumed the additional responsibility as Dean of the College of Engineering. Under his leadership, the Departments of Computer Science and the College of Engineering grew in enrollment and scope. Dr. Monroe hired the most tenured African-American engineering professors in the United States during that period. Also during that time, Dr. Monroe was a founding member of the first Computer Science Honor Society, Upsilon Pi Epsilon, which later grew to become an international society. He served on the boards of directors of the Industries of the Blind and Computer Science at NASA, as well as the Board of Governors that governed the practicing of engineering and surveying in North Carolina. The list of honors for Dr. Monroe has earned over his lifetime is extensive. He was awarded the U.S. Department of Defense Superior Service Medal for superior service in teaching in 1987. And the U.S. Air Force Legion of Merit Service Medal for Outstanding Teaching and Research in 1974, 1978, and 1982. In 1982, he was named the National Technical Achiever of the Year by the National Technical Achievers Association. As these many distinctions, and all of them as honors, support a lifetime of accomplishment, it certainly made Dr. Monroe a fitting and distinguished scholar whose name richly deserves to be associated with one of the most significant engineering and scientific facilities on our campus. When our university took a critical, holistic look at our facility naming over the past several years, it became clear that this structure, Cherry Hall, as it was then named, did not appropriately reflect the past, the present, or the future of our university. Our board took immediate action to remove that name from the university's resignation in 2020 and set about choosing a name that would be compellingly addressing the appropriate needs and the forming opportunities for this significant university. And thanks to our board, who unanimously approved the recommendation, appropriate name in this facility is Dr. Joseph Monroe Hall. As someone who has spent the better part of his adult life in and around North Carolina A&T, I can tell you this is a special moment not only for me, but so many Aggies all over the world who not only know Dr. Monroe, but who have a great passion for North Carolina A&T State University and its College of Engineering. Dr. Monroe's name will serve as a potent reminder of a saying made famous by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I quote, "The arc of moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." And it is very clear that Dr. Monroe has been at the eye of change in America and driving its change in his own special way. And Dr. Monroe's lifetime of achievement and service makes placing his name on this building such a logical choice. We are absolutely thrilled to be here and honored as we participate in the dedication of this building and naming it to Dr. Joseph Monroe Hall. Thank you for joining us today.
So at this part of the program, it is my honor to continue the proclamation. Now, this is the proclamation that goes with you and your family, Dr. Monroe. And at the very bottom of that proclamation, it says, and I'm speaking for the Chancellor in this one time, "Now, therefore, I, Harold L. Martin, Sr., Chancellor, do hereby proclaim Monroe Hall at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, in testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University," hold on, it moved, "this 15th day of April 2022. Chancellor. Congratulations. When we have an event like this, and when you listen to all that Dr. Monroe has done, it reminds us of what is so rich about our university, because we continue to build upon each accomplishment. So everything in my 11 years here has been built on things that you've already put into place before that, and I so appreciate you for it. At this point, we're going to open up the program to just a few words from the special remarks from the Monroe family. Now, if you want to stay down there, we can bring the mic. If you want to come up, however you want to do it.
We'll come up. There's just 4,
Okay.
5.
So, Monroe family members, the 4 who are going to speak, please, you're welcome to come up.
morning. My name is Billy Walls, and I'm a third-generation Monroe. It is with great pleasure that I share a few words in honor of my dear Uncle Joe. He and I have always had a very special bond. He's really more like a surrogate grandfather. Some of my most precious, cherished memories with him have been unplanned visits. It's funny how a quick trip to get a smoothie turned into a full day at North Carolina A&T. And the smoothie was the last part of the day. As I look back, I'm most grateful that I was obedient and I was patient. I realized this moment was much bigger than staying on schedule, and it was about really building priceless memories with my dear Uncle Joe. I'm the emotional one. And it was just he and Billy Bob. Somehow that's the name that's always stuck, that he still calls me to this day. Over the years, I've heard many Joe Monroe stories. Stories about how proud our family was of him when he got his doctorate. Stories about my grandmother, his sister, packing up a typewriter so that he could do his work. Stories about how he sent his mother funds back to the farm when they lived in Roland, North Carolina. Our family is privileged to reflect on these stories and the countless memories he has made. However, the greatest privilege comes today in knowing that Dr. Joe Monroe has continued to be a very humble soul, that he always has loved the Aggie Nation and the engineering department. We, the Monroe family, are delighted that his legacy will live forever on through this day and in the renaming of this building. Uncle Joe, congratulations. I love you and I'm proud to be your niece.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I concur with Billy Bob and what she said. I am Lucilla Monroe Moore, a proud 1969 graduate of this great institution. I am a proud Aggie. And I'm speaking on behalf of my siblings. I am the youngest from the group of 9. Mom and Dad taught us always help each other. Joe never forgot that expectation. Joe was born with a veil over his face. Some of you may know what that means, and some of you may not. According to scriptural legend, it is symbolic of God's covering, God's protection, and God's blessings. Joe is also the 3rd sibling. The number 3 in biblical numbers represent God and suggest Trinity attributions or Trinity attributes. Joe is a godly man, of few words, with a big heart and a zeal for helping others. Joe has a sense of humor, passionate about the TV remote, good football, basketball, golf, and bridge, and of course his box seat at Aggie Nation. Ephesians 2:10 reminds us that you are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared for beforehand so that you would walk in his word. Joe, you are the fruit of faith and good works. Your love impacted our family profoundly. We are here today to rename a building, but more importantly, we are here to honor a man who has served his family, the country, and others without limits. Your tireless efforts have not gone unnoticed, especially the challenge of a good education, making it the gateway to opportunities. So today, we celebrate your legacy as a steady source of illumination and inspiration for me, others, and the entire Monroe clan. Thank you, bro.
I see those two are funny.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Bruce Monroe, Dr. Monroe and Sally's youngest son. I'm going to, my brother supported me when we spoke at my mom's funeral, and he has a much different way of grieving and a much different way of speaking than I do. So I'm going to open and then I'm going to close. And the reason I'm opening, yesterday I asked my dad if he'd like to speak. And he's a proud man, and Parkinson's has somewhat constricted his voice box. He said, Bruce, I want you to speak for me because I want to thank certain people, and I want you to make sure that you do that. And so then, as my Aunt Lucilla said, he's a man of few words, but then throughout the day he kept adding, and Bruce, be sure to thank this person, be sure to thank that person. And then I was sort of, I was a colonel in the Air Force, and my dad was a colonel in the Air Force. As folks know, and I'm sure the folks who worked with him in the Department of Engineering know, Air Force colonels can be a heavy lift because we do centralized control, decentralized execution. So we just tell people what to do, and then we just expect them to go out and do it well. First and foremost, he wanted to thank God for the opportunity and for the blessings that have been bestowed on him throughout his life and throughout my mom's life. He wanted to thank Dean Cougar for the nomination, also the Vice Chancellor for advancement, and also Chancellor Martin. He also wanted to thank the Board of Trustees. Give me a thumbs up, Dad, if I miss one. Okay, we're still there. Okay, and the Board of Trustees for the final approval. As only can happen when your dad is an engineer and thinks the way he does. I said, is there anything else you'd like me to do? He said, oh, after that, it doesn't matter. So what I'll do is let JJ go ahead and provide some reflection, and then I'd just like to provide a couple of things, because I didn't know if I'd be able to get this far, and I already have, so I'm going to go ahead and let JJ speak.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So far, so good. First, I'd like to thank Chancellor Martin, the Board of Trustees, Department of Advancement, friends, family, distinguished guests. Thank you all for coming on this most joyous occasion. I know my father would want to give glory and honor to our Lord and Savior. Without him, none of this is possible. But through him, all things are possible. No one was looking more forward to this building dedication than my dear, dear departed mother, Sally McNair Monroe. She was the bedrock of the family. And frankly, without her, we've all been in a little bit of a fog these last couple of weeks. So this is a very good occasion to actually brighten the gloomy couple of weeks that we've had. An honor like this is a crowning achievement to a life well lived. And having a building on the alma mater, campus of your alma mater, is nothing short of amazing. Quite honestly, I mean, let that sizzle in your spirit for a second. To have a building named after you on your alma mater, I can't think of much higher honor.